Hi, this is Dell with Speak Through Me Communications in conjunction with Speak Through Me Publishing. The other day, my husband, he just kind of said this real witty thing because we were talking about, I don't know, probably nothing all that critical, but I do remember I was talking about something that I was thinking about doing. And after I had talked about it for a while, he just kind of looked at me and he said, well, you need to put some motion to that notion. I thought, that is so cool. Now in his mind, he didn't think that he had said anything that was all that deep and profound, but I thought it was really cool. I mean, for one thing, it's a catchy little thing, put some motion to the notion, but the other thing is that so often we spend so much time talking about stuff, but we don't do it. We just talk. Okay, maybe I'm just talking to me, because I know I'm pretty much the queen of yak. I talk to myself all the time about all these amazing things that I'm going to do, and I'm talking to God about all these things that I'm going to do. Oh, and then this is going to happen. I'm going to do this, and yang, and then I don't do any of it. If I actually did all of the stuff that I had talked about doing, I would be a gazillionaire by now. I mean, like, oh my goodness, I'd be a household name. Okay, I am kind of anyway, but that's a side issue. But I mean, there's so much I would have accomplished by now. If I actually wrote all the books that I talked about writing, yeah, I would have written probably more books than, within the Library of Congress or something, I would have so much done, but I don't, because I don't put any motion behind the notion. I just talk about it. Yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and that. Look at all the stuff I'm going to do that I haven't done. I have stacks and stacks and stacks. I mean, literally stacks of books that I am going to write. One day, after a while, by and by, I'm going to write that book. Yes, I am. Yeah. And that's as far as it gets. I'm just talking about it. I have all these great notions of what I'm going to do, but I've yet to actually do it. Some of the books, actually most of them, I've probably mapped them out and, I've got all this information and all these notes about the book, but where's the book? It's in my head. That's where the book is. Still in my head. Now, I need to put some motion behind that notion. Now, I know that most of you have probably heard the expression that talk is cheap. Well, that's true. But what you don't know about it is that saying is so old, it's actually in the Bible. Yes, that is a biblical term. Talk is cheap. Because in Proverbs 14:23, let me check my notes, make sure I'm saying the right one. Yes, Proverbs 14:23, it says that the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury. And I'm probably kind of butchering that a little bit, but basically it's saying the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury. And what that means, talk is cheap. So if all you're going to do is talk about it, how much is that going to help you? Not much. It might make you feel kind of good, like, oh yeah, guess what I'm going to do, la da da. But if you don't actually do it, yeah, it's not going to do you much good. Talk's cheap. Stop talking about it. Do it. Now you can do some talking because, yes, sometimes you need to kind of talk it through so that you can just kind of get a better sense of what you're thinking about doing. So yeah, I get that. That does need to happen. That's part of your planning process. Yeah, that makes sense. But if it stops right there, there's no motion behind that notion, then that's as far as you're going. You just spent your day talking and talking and talking. Put some motion to that notion. If you're thinking about writing a book, and that's the notion, that's all you've been doing is thinking about writing that book, a great way to put some motion behind it would be to come to the Memphis Christian Writers Conference. Yes, it's coming up September 12th. It's going to be here before you know it. That's a great place to learn about the writing process, how you're going to go about, getting that book finished and getting that book mapped out. We're going to have people there that are going to be able to teach you about writing. We're going to teach you about public speaking. We're also going to have Minister Tanisha Holliday, who is going to be talking on leadership. So we have someone that's going to be working with you with respect to ministry leadership. The Memphis Christian Writers Conference is a niche conference. It is designed specifically for adults who wish to self-publish an uplifting, faith-based nonfiction book. That is your desire. That is your wish. That's what you want to do. That's your notion. Well, you're going to have to put some motion behind it if you expect to ever get that book finished. But we're also going to be teaching public speaking as well as dealing with ministry leaders. So it's for writers, speakers, and ministry leaders. The conference, we will be having teaching sessions. Obviously, it's a conference, so yes, we're going to be having those segments in there. But there are a couple other things that we're going to be adding in that kind of differentiates us from a number of other conferences that you might be thinking about. And that is that we're going to be adding in the head-to-hand writers workshop. That workshop is where we're going to do a deep dive into getting that book out of your head and into your hands so that you can have your entire book mapped out, ready to go, and all you need to do is go home and put a little bit of meat on those bones. So we're going to show you how to do that. We're also going to provide 5 weeks of additional follow-up. 5 weeks of follow-up coaching. There's no extra charge for that. It is included in the conference. Now, frankly, those 5 weeks of follow-up coaching, that's enough right there to sign up. That is going to be so beneficial to you. I will be right there in each session, so it's not going to be something where I'm going to hand you off to somebody else. No, I'll be right there answering any questions, dealing with any comments and concerns that you might have, because I want to help you get your book finished. Now, if you decide that you want to work with Speak Through Me Publishing, great. If you decide you want to do it completely on your own, great. We just want you to get your book finished, because if God gave you this book, well, He didn't give it to you just because. He gave it to you because He wanted you to do it. He didn't want me to write it. He wanted you to write it. We want to help you accomplish that. Make sure you put some motion behind that notion and come to the Memphis Christian Writers Conference. That's memphiscwc.com. memphiscwc.com. We want to help you get that book finished. We'll see you there.